Hi, and happy Halloween. I'm going to take this holiday opportunity to talk about an archetype that is actually super popular in popular culture and that you probably come across more than once if you've been on this path. It's not one of my favorite archetypes, but I think it's a really important one to be aware of, and I'm talking, of course, about the vampire. So we've all come across energy vampires, kind of felt that our energy was being sucked away. Some of us have really gotten caught pretty deep into that energy at points in our lives. And just want to talk about kind of maybe give you a different perspective on the vampire and offer a powerful way that I have found to help to defuse that energy and get out of the grip of the vampire. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Ona. This channel is Art of Awakening, and I'm really all about being a GPS to your genius zone, finding your zone of genius, which is really your spiritual and creative power to manifest something wonderful, life that is wonderful, and to start bringing about a beautiful world. So join me and let's talk about the vampire. Okay, so first of all, the vampire is really all about power. Okay, it's about the balance of power, and because there's always a power balance in any relationship, and for that relationship to be healthy, we need an equal balance of power so that there's give and take in a healthy sort of relationship. And when we have a really productive kind of relationship, the two or more of you will empower each other, and there will be growth and creativity out of that. Okay, so that really, when we have a vampiric energy, it's one aspect or one player in that whole scene is wanting to really take the energy away, and typically in a not in a forceful way. Like, you can disempower somebody by just going in and forcibly tying them up or enslaving them or whatever. The vampire is more undermining, it's more manipulative, okay? And sometimes it can be very subtle. You may not realize that your energy is being sucked away, for quite a while, until you suddenly, it's like, oh my God, I don't feel well around this person, or I don't feel like myself. And so it can be sort of a very kind of sneaky kind of energy. And it can be very, at least seemingly, a very powerful kind of energy. Okay, so when you're in the grips of the vampire, it's almost like quicksand. It's really hard to get out of there. It's sort of like a negative tractor beam that it just sucks you away. I think one of the best descriptions comes from the Harry Potter, the Dementors. It's kind of a vampiric energy, right? And she describes it so well. It's like it sucks the soul out of you. Okay, it's scary, and when you're in the grips of it, it can be very paralyzing. If you want to look at animal archetypes, we're looking at the really scary negative side of spider, okay? And it can have all that entanglement energy around it as well, okay? So like I said, it can be extremely paralyzing. Spiders will actually inject a paralyzing kind of venom into the prey so that they can't move, okay? So with that said, like I said, it seems to be powerful, but it's really not. And the reason I say this is that you're the one with the power. Okay, so we have to understand that anytime there's any kind of vampiric things happening in our lives to us, it's a reflection of something within ourselves, right? And I'm not saying this to blame the victim at all, okay? But it is always, whatever we come across in our lives is always going to be mirroring ourselves. And what that does when we realize that is, it's extremely empowering, okay? Because now, if we recognize that anything that's happening in our life is actually a reflection of something that's within ourselves, then we know we're the ones with the power, okay? We're the ones with the power. And think of it, they are feeding off of your power, okay? So if you're in the clutches of vampire, you are with the one with the power. That's why they want to feed off of you, okay? So by seeking your power instead of your own, what's really happening is that they are demonstrating a lack of belief in their own power. Okay, so it's really a lack of belief in power. And this goes, the interesting thing is it goes both ways, right? So in essence, they're actually stealing your power. And in stealing your power, they are actually abdicating their own. Their actions are saying, I don't have enough of my own power. I have to go steal somebody else's, okay? And the victims, quote unquote victims, what's going on there is like, I'm not standing in my power, and therefore I'm leaving myself open to, draining my own. So it's like, you're just giving up your power. And a lot of that is just, it's awareness and loving oneself enough to, first of all, be aware of that you are valuable, okay? So it's, first of all, it's a recognition of your own worth, your own power, that you do have power. Okay, so this is the first step in overcoming the vampire, is acknowledging, recognizing, I am a powerful being. And it's really a validation that there's an energy sucking at you, that you are a powerful being. So really consider that, okay? So what this really is it's empowerment in reverse, okay? So rather than the two of you combining together, and because when there's two powerful beings that are really in balance and really working together, it actually creates more power, right? And that's actually the sexual energy. That's why vampires are so quote unquote sexy, right? It's because it's running through some of the same energetic channels that the creation energy runs, right? But it runs it in reverse. So this is creation energy in reverse. That is why it's such a powerful thing, to be working with. So ultimately, if you're running it in reverse, it ultimately weakens both of you, okay? Because you're actually both. What happens is almost, I think of it as a virus, okay? So it's not that either of you, that there's anything wrong with either of you, right? It's, there's some kind of virus that's been contracted, okay, that sort of makes you forget that you're powerful. Okay, so what happens is, like, you're both under the influence of this virus, or this person is, and it kind of comes at you. And if you're not quite, like, you don't quite have your spiritual immune system isn't quite there, then they can latch onto you and start sucking away the power, and it transfers the virus to you. Okay, so what happens is, if this keeps going on and keeps going on and keeps going on, you get really so sucked into it that you start exhibiting these vampire tendencies yourself. And I've seen this multiple times where people, and I know that there are actual probably true predators out there, although I think really, I actually don't believe that there is anybody that can't be healed, okay? But there's people that are pretty far gone, and that's what maybe we call the true predators. But there are plenty of people out there who are beautiful souls, who really do care, who really are, wanting the best. They want to be good people, but they've picked up this kind of vampiric energy. It's like this, it's the narcissistic kind of patterning that goes on. And I've come across multiple people with this narcissistic patterning that honestly, they aren't narcissists, right? In fact, they have been victims of narcissism, and they've picked up the virus. And so some of these beautiful individuals will end up in the vampire role because they're just their immune system has been compromised. Okay, so this is really what I'm more talking about than anything else, because it's actually can suck you in more than anything else, because your soul, like if you're a really if you're a powerful empath, like you probably are if you've come this far in this video, you can see the beauty in that person's soul, and you can see that they are a beautiful person, right? But then there's this patterning happening, and it can be really, really confusing. It's like, why are things so difficult with this person, right? So, excuse me if I keep looking down. I'm looking at my notes because I kind of channeled all this out the other day. So it's really, if you notice, if you stand a vampire in front of the mirror in folklore, right, and he has no reflection, that's because the vampire itself is an illusion, right? It doesn't have real power, and that's what I'm going to keep circling back to. Overcoming the vampire is about reclaiming your power and reclaiming it in a way that transcends the vampire rather than stepping into it yourself, right? When you realize that it's a virus and when you realize how it's operating, then you have the power to start spinning that energy back forwards, out of reverse, and start spinning it forwards, okay? This does not mean that what you do is necessarily going to change them. That depends on them. And remember, you're going to be giving their power back to them, okay? That's the technique. So what it entails is recognizing that, the vampiric energy wants to put hooks in you, okay? It'll put hooks in your power center, into your solar plexus chakra. It's wanting to suck away the power. It also puts hooks into your sacral. And a lot of times there's a sexual component. That's where some of this twin flame energy that's coming through is actually this kind of reverse creation energy, this vampiric energy. So sometimes it can come along with real intense sexuality, kind of sexual feelings or sexual attraction. It's actually hooking into you through the sacral chakra, okay? And it accesses the solar chakra through the sacral. Okay, so I'm just telling you this so that you can recognize some of these patterns when they're happening, okay? So this person is, and often it's inadvertently, often they have no clue that this is what's happening. So sometimes if you're feeling that real kind of intense attraction, and you're like, why doesn't the other person get it? Because, oh my God, we're twin flames, right? And they don't seem to really even notice. And it's like, this may be something that's going on. And again, it can be extremely unconscious. And what's happening is that person's, patterns, their issues are just kind of being, you being a healer and being an empath, sometimes you actually volunteer to take that on, okay? Because you are wanting to transmute it for them. And in so doing, you're actually going to be healing that part of yourself that is running or susceptible to that virus. Okay, so this is all about awareness. Once you're aware of this pattern, it's, we can deal with it, okay? But like I was saying, this is all about you, okay? This is not about fixing the person. This is about how you deal with this energy, and recognize that some people, they are going to have to come to terms with this on their own. There may be some people that you could actually explain this to, but a lot of times, if you try to talk to people about that they have vampiric energy, sometimes it's like what it does is it just triggers their ego, and they're like, you're just gonna it may not be pretty, right? It may just kind of bring you deeper into it. So it's really about how you deal with the energy. And okay, so what it is like, first of all, you recognize it's your power, it's their power, okay? They are sucking away your power, but they're also giving their power to you. So the thing is like, okay, let's rather than blaming, we bless. Okay, so bless them and give them their power back. Send their power back to them. Say thank you, for coming to me for help. It's like, well, that's what's happening, right? And I'm going to just bless you, bless this power of yours. I don't need it. I don't need it because I am a powerful being. I have my own power. So I'm going to just send your power back to you with a blessing, and also, but this requires that you be aware of your own worth, be aware of your boundaries, okay? What's yours, what's theirs, where's the line, and be willing to draw that line and very kindly to, just to, I don't like the word defend, but to just to hold that line, right? So you've got to be able to recognize what's happening and recognize where your boundary is being breached without your permission, and also to very kindly, rather than fighting, because fighting only makes them want to latch on harder, rather than fighting, to just bless, send it back. And even if it's only happening in your head, what's going to happen is, either if they're not that much infected, you may find that they actually respond very well, and they may start to back out of that vampiric energy. We may be able to spin that relationship and start spinning it in a positive way. If they're deeply infected, it's probably not going to happen, okay? And it's not on you. And that's another freeing thing, is to recognize that this is part of disentangling from the vampire, is to recognize that what's theirs is theirs to deal with, right? We can't fix them, we can't heal them, right? All we can do is, send the healing energy, channel whatever healing energy we can, and work on healing ourselves. And sometimes these people will drop away, and sometimes they'll keep trying, and sometimes you actually have to cut those cords and cut off the relationship and just say, this relationship isn't for me. And that can be really, really hard, especially because if they've been, kind of sucking at you for a long time, there may be some very deeply entrenched cords, and that, you may feel a lot of attachment to them. So it can be really, really difficult to do that, to take that step. But sometimes that is necessary, and recognize that person may never, ever see that they are actually themselves a powerful being, and they may resent you for taking your power back. But just if you can energetically recognize that you've taken on some of their power too, and to bless and send them back their power, it will actually, at least on a soul level, even if they never recognize it in this lifetime, because they may be so deeply entrenched, but at least you will be helping them on the spiritual level, and definitely helping yourself to remove yourself from those vampiric energies. Okay, so if this has been helpful to you, if you think there are other people in your life that could benefit from these insights, and as always, anything that doesn't resonate with you, just leave it here. Leave it here. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But if you feel like it's been helpful, if you want to share it, please do share this message. And as always, I appreciate your subscribes and would love to hear your comments. Thank you so much. Happy Halloween, or if it's not Halloween, this vampire energy, it happens all year round. Happy whatever day it is. Have a good one, and we'll catch you again soon.